Hello everyone and welcome to another Pokemon Trading Card Game live video. My name is Jamie and today I'll be taking you through another deck which has come out from the most recent expansion, which of course is Journey Together. But as always, just before we do go into the video, if you do like this type of content and you want to see some more content related to the Pokemon Trading Card Game, then as always, hit that subscribe button and of course like this video. So today we're going to be looking at a card that I've been testing quite a lot recently, which is this card here, Accelgor. So Accelgor, it's been printed in the past, and it's often referred to as what is called a hit and run Pokemon. I.e., for example, you hit a Pokemon in the active spot, and then you either retreat to the deck or you retreat to the bench. Something like that. So Accelgor is a stage 1, it's a grass type with 100 HP. Has this attack here, Poisonous Ploy, so for 70 damage for a grass and a colorless, so you can leave your opponent's active Pokemon confused and poisoned, and then you switch this Pokemon with a Pokemon on your bench. So it's a bit similar to, we looked at a while ago, I think Flygon EX has a very similar ability or an attack where you attack and then you retreat to the bench. So the idea basically is that we want to utilize Pokemon that kind of go into the active spot after and do different things basically. So the obvious inclusion, or one that I have tested, is Tyranitar, which we have looked at. Although, because we've looked at Tyranitar anyway, I think the best is good to look at like another concept or another way in which you can play Accelgor. So very similar to Flygon, we'll be looking at a kind of Walls deck. So other Pokemon that best pair well with Accelgor. So let's have a look. So the obvious inclusion then becomes things like wall Pokemon, so Pokemon that can kind of stall out your opponent a little bit or prevent them doing some damage to you. So for example, Mimikyu is the obvious inclusion, or one of the obvious inclusions, for its safeguard ability. So this prevents all damage done to Pokemon or this Pokemon by Pokemon that are EX Pokemon or V. Vs are no longer in the format. So that is an option, so we can put Mimikyu in the active spot, stop EXs trying to do damage to us. So there are, most decks are very heavily focused on EX Pokemon anyway, so we have Mimikyu for that reason. We also have as well Ogerpon EX, so this is the Cornerstone mask one, and we can attack with it, but it's not predominantly its attack we're using, it's the ability, which is Cornerstone stance. So any Pokemon with an ability cannot do damage to this Pokemon as well from attack. So this is another way we can try and stall out our opponent. So that is some options there. So we could just put those kind of Pokemon in the active spot, stop our opponent attacking us, and then just keep switching in and out of Accelgor. So that's predominantly the idea. Another Pokemon that is really, really good, and there are so many basic Pokemon in the format that rely on just abilities basically. So Mischievous Lock, this is Klefki. So it stops abilities, both you and your opponent, of basic Pokemon. So if you think that there are so many Pokemon in the format, like Ogerpon for example, that's the Teal Mask Ogerpon, and even things like Squawkabillies, for example, loads of things that people need, or like loads of decks need in order to try and set up. Even in things like Lightning Toolbox decks, that anything like Miraidon, for example, that's a basic Pokemon. So you can lock out a lot of decks with Klefki. So I think this is a really, really good card. Even things like, I don't know, Fezandipiti, for example, or even Mew for restart. So it locks out a lot of things. So Klefki is really, really good in this deck. Other Pokemon that we have, so we've got Pecharunt as well. So we are doing poison damage, of course, so for its ability basically. Just to, when it's in the active spot, we can also put more damage counters if we are trying to knock out something. So that is that. Obviously, of course, we've got Latias EX as well, so pretty much the majority of our deck is basic, so Skyliner becomes a no-brainer. And of course, Iron Thorns as well, so for initialization there, so we can also stop abilities when it's in the active spot of Pokemon with rule boxes, so things like EXs and Vs, which of course aren't in the format, but we also got that as well, so that's also very good. Another Pokemon that we've also got Munkidori. So we can move some damage counters over, so that's pretty good. That also becomes very very clutch in things like Gardevoir, for example, because so Gardevoir is a bit tough for this deck, but there are ways of getting around it, as we'll soon find out. So yeah, I mean, they can attack with Drifloon, although it does require them to put damage onto the Drifloon anyway, so we can just knock it out without actually having to attack with Munkidori, just using its ability. So that's why that's in there. But in general, just a very solid card. So to avoid things hitting the bench, we've also got Rabsca as well, so for Spherical Shield, for things like Dragon Bolt, so that's why we've got that in there. And we've also got here one Genesect for Ace Nullifier, so we can stop our opponents using their Ace spec in their deck, so that's also pretty nice if we need to utilize that. So, and that's pretty much the Pokemon line. And finally, just of course, one Ursaluna, just for the late game if we need to get those big hits. And of course, a Fezandipiti to flip the script. So that is pretty notable. And of course, if we are going second, Budew is very, very good for opening up with. So that's the Pokemon line there. Trainers were looking a little bit like this. So we do have a lot of Pokemon. So our ace spec of choice is Precious Trolley, just to get all those Pokemon out onto your bench and give you the best possible chance of setting up. So so we do run 4 Arven there as well, so we can use Arven to get the Precious Trolley. So that's also pretty nice. And we can also get with Arven, we can get a Rescue Board as well, which is really, really good. So why are we playing Rescue Board when we play Latias? Well, if you look at Klefki, so Klefki basically locks yours and your opponent's Pokemon basically in terms of their abilities. So we need a way of getting Klefki out of the active spot because it shuts off Skyliner. So that's why we have the Rescue Board in there. And of course, if we want to, we can also attach it to Genesect as well. So that would utilize Ace Nullifier. So that's why we have that. So yeah, that's predominantly why we've got 2 Rescue Board in there. So if we do want to go heavy on the Klefki. But yeah, 1 Future Booster as well, that's for Iron Thorns, very similar reason. So if we need to get Iron Thorns out of the active spot, we have a Future Booster for that. And of course, Iron Thorns has a 4 retreat cost, which is very, very hefty, which means Rescue Board won't work on that, so it'll only reduce it by 1. Stadiums, we've also got, we've got Perilous Jungle here as well, just for more damage on checkup. That is with Poison. So we've got that. Other things are pretty standard, so 1 Crispin in there just in case we need it. We've got 2 bosses in there, Earthen Vessel, Buddies in there, Ionas, Research, standard. So pretty straightforward there. So and energy, we're looking a little bit like this. So it's a pretty big split. 3 grass in there. We've got 3 grass, 2 dark, that is to utilize Munkidori, and of course, just if we need to attack, we can also put it onto Accelgor as well. 1 psychic, just in case we want to utilize, Mimikyu, so we can also use that with just 1 psychic energy. But all the things that most of these Pokemon have in common is they all need a grass and a colorless. So same with Mimikyu here as well. Ogerpon as well also needs a grass and 2 colorless, so we can use any energy basically. And even Ursaluna as well is just colorless. So basically all we need is the grass energy, and the dark is just for Munkidori. So yeah, and the 1 fighting energy gives us the option if we want to lead with Ogerpon, so we can attack with it if we want to. And finally, we've got 2 reversal energy in here. So something that I've noticed, which is a very common play, which is why we've also got Crispin in here as well, is if you go first and you attach an energy to your Accelgor, if they're going first and they're playing a deck that's very fast, something like Raging Bolt, they can bring up your Accelgor and knock it out. And even if you've got 2 Accelgor on your bench, it means that you can't attack the following turn, so that does become an issue. So you have to invest 1 turn just trying to set up another Accelgor or trying to attach energy to your Accelgor. So for that reason, we have reversal energy in there just to kind of lessen the significance of getting knocked out turn 1. So that's why that's in there. But that is a deck. That is Accelgor Wool. So yeah, just keep attacking with Accelgor basically, and block your opponents with things like Ogerpons and Mimikyus, etc., etc. So. But that is the theory. Let's go play a game with it and let's see how it plays out. Okay, let's see if we go first or second, see what they choose. Either is fine. We do run a lot of cards like Buddy-Buddy, we do run things like Nest Ball. If we want to go first, that's okay. And then we can also lead with Budew if it's possible. Try and get that out and try and item lock them. I did forget to mention as well, okay, we've got we'll stick a Ogerpon active there, and then I guess we'll stick a Shelmet on the bench. That is fine. We've got Arven in hand, we can get Precious Trolley as well, so that's pretty good. Oh, nice, okay. So, it's got 1 retreat. We can also retreat it as well, the Rescue Board, that's also potentially an option. So, yeah, one thing that I did forget to mention actually is that if we are having problems with Stage 2 Pokemon, then we do run TM Evolution, or De-Evolution, sorry, in the deck as well, so we can rely on just like putting some damage onto some Pokemon, some big Stage 2s, things like Gardevoir, we can knock them out that way by de-evolving them. So that is one way we can get around those kind of big Stage 2 Pokemon. And things like Gardevoir as well, they rely on putting energy on the energy and damage on themselves. So yeah, we can just knock them out with TM Devolution. that is the idea. So, but it looks like we're not playing against a. It looks like we're playing against a standard kind of what would look like just an Ogerpon kind of knocked out engine deck. So we'll see. Could be Clefairy. Could be Clefairy. Or Terrapagos either. Let's see. Nice. Okay. Oh, that's a good. Okay, that's cool. So we've got lots of. There we go. Let's get Precious Trolley. That's always the. Okay, no rescue. We've only got one rescue board. Okay, the other one's prized. So we'll just take a Team Devolution. Yeah, why not? Just a deck thing a little bit. All right. So let's get Budew. Let's get Fezandipiti, and let's get that. So we'll get Latias in there as well. So our hand's not looking great in reference to what we're able to do. So I'm gonna just bait out the Budew here, bait out the knockout, and then let's stick an energy onto here. I think that's okay. So we'll item lock our opponents on the basis that they'll probably attach another energy next turn, and then knock out the Budew, and that will activate Flip the Script, and we can try and draw some more cards. So I think that's the play. And then hopefully we get some resources to get out our Accelgor and an energy. If not, we can just stick a Mimikyu inactive as well. Let's see. The good thing is that, like, I think most decks generally play around 2 bosses, something like that. Maybe a Prime Catcher as well. I don't know. But most decks usually play around 2 bosses. So if they use 2 bosses to knock out whatever, that still leaves, even if they knocked out like 2 EXs, which there we go, there's a bosses and Vessel, so that would make sense. They can't play Vessel though, so because they're item locked. So I don't know if they've got an energy in hand, but they can boss up something. Okay, so they're using Teal Dance. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, they can knock out the Budew. They can also bring up, if they want, to a Shelmet. Knock that out, but we've got enough rules on the bench that I think we should be okay. So, and the good thing is that if they knock out the Shelmet, although it's not very good for us because we can't evolve next turn, what that does mean is that they only take 1 prize. So it still forces them to have to take another 5 prizes, as opposed to 3 prizes, as in like 2 EXs. Or sorry, 3 X's even. So yeah, they have 5 prizes. We'll try and force them like to knock out some EXs. Basically, that's the idea. So play what's called the 7 prize game. Oh, they just went with Budew. Interesting. Oh, that is very interesting. Okay, let's put that inactive. Very interesting. Okay, Munkidori, let's flip the script. Okay, another Shelmet. So stick that on bench. Still not really doing too much here, but that's okay. We'll stick a Psychic here. Cool, that's fine. And we'll stick, I'm just thinking if we should stick, Terrapagos doesn't have an ability. Let's go with Mimikyu. There we go, we'll stick Mimikyu active and try and stall them out a little bit. Again, if they knock out something, Shelmet, Mimikyus, we'll just flip the script and we can draw more cards. That is fine. And if they knock out something, we'll flip the script. See how that goes, but yeah, that's the kind of the benefits of yeah, just having access to both Ogerpon and Mimikyu in there. So I think they all run abilities. That's Raging Bolt. Okay, so Mimikyu does become very clutch then. So it forces, especially with no cancelling cologne in the format, forces them to get a bosses. There's the boss. That's fine. It'd be interesting to see what they pick here. So I mean, there's got to be the one of the okay, Fezandipiti. Okay, that's fine. So Vessel, can they get 2 energy? Okay, and that goes. I don't think. They use bosses, so they don't have Sadas unless they've got Energy Switch. Let's see what they decide to do. Because at the moment they're doing 120 damage. So, okay, 150. So they're still short. Okay, so they're still, but no, still not doing enough. So I'm not too sure, unless they've got Sadas here. Okay, it's 150. Okay, fine. So strange. I mean, it's just wasted the bosses, which is good for us because when they start to run out of bosses, then that's when we we're able to do something. Let's put Mimikyu back inactive, so that's fine. Cool. All right. Still not looking very good on the front of energy. I mean, we haven't got an Accelgor here. We're not really drawing it, so that's fine. So I think we'll just play the Wolves game for the moment. That's all we can do. Once they of course knock something out, we can flip the script. But until then, we'll have to just play the Wolves game. But good that they've used the bosses here. That's also very good for us. So that means they've got one more boss in deck, I presume. Most decks usually play around 2 bosses. The question becomes if they play Prime Catcher or not. So we could also, I don't know if I saw Genesect in deck, but we could also get Genesect out to try and prevent them using their A-Spec. But yeah, I don't know. Like they've also got they've got a Hoot Hoot on the bench as well, so they can knock out for something. Presuming that they have access to get a Noctowl out here, but let's see. Let's see. We need an Accelgor. We need an Accelgor. We need something to get out our Accelgor here. That is what we need. Okay. Interesting. Putting a Squawkabilly on the bench on turn 4. Okay. That is, yeah. Okay. Do they have energy in discard? They do not. Okay. It's a very interesting play. But we'll see what they do. See what they do. It's amazing how many decks are just not equipped to dealing with Safeguard Pokemon. It's a bit like when you have, okay, that's fine. All good. Safeguard does its thing. Still nothing. Still nothing. We don't want to attack with that. Can we get? They've got fighting on there, so grass. I don't think we're gonna get an IO node, but just thinking if we do, let's stick it on there just in case. If this gets knocked out, we can get the Psychic back and at least try and put some damage on with Mimikyu. But I think that's okay. Still not doing much, unfortunately. But we'll pass turn. So as long as Mimikyu is holding firm, then that's the most important thing. So, and if they knock out Fezandipiti, we've got Night Stretcher in hand, we can get that back as well. So it looks like a bit of a stalemate at the moment, so... Interestingly though, I thought that like we've drawn... So we've used the script once, I think. Once or twice. I feel like they've drawn more cards than us, but they've got more cards in deck. We've got 35 cards in deck. Did we draw that much? I don't know. So yeah, if we get a an Accelgor, then we can actually start doing something. We start putting some damage on there. And if they somehow knock out the Mimikyu as well, I mean, surprisingly, why didn't they just put, instead of putting the energy on Raging Bolt, why didn't they just put it on like Noctowl instead? To try and get past the Mimikyu. Alright, okay. I mean, it only does 60 damage anyway, and then if we had an Accelgor, we can, still drawing, still haven't got what we need. Can we, oh, we don't want to de-evolve that. That would be, that wouldn't be good. So, yeah, I think we just pass, unfortunately. Yeah. We keep going until we draw, I don't know, like an Ultra Ball or something. Crispin, okay. What are you using Crispin on? Presumably it's got to be the Noctowl here. That has to be the play, I would imagine. Still on Ogerpon. Why? Okay. Unless they're just waiting for a bosses or something. I don't know, to knock up something that, like, knock out something on the bench. I don't know. What we could do... Okay, fine. Okay, they put an energy on the Noctowl. Why don't you just put it on the... I don't know. I don't know. What we could do... I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but we could have baited out perhaps maybe a knockout to try and flip the script, but I don't think that would have been... I mean, if it was a Budew or something like that, I would say, yeah, sure. But I don't want to knock out a Shelmet, just for the purpose of drawing. So, cool. That is fine. Safeguard holds firm. Let's see, what do we draw? Nice! At last! At last! Okay, and we've got Night Stretcher in hand as well, just if we want to recycle that. Let's retreat. Okay, let's stick out that so we do some more damage. And let's Poison Ploy. There we go, stick some damage on there. Nice. Mimikyu back inactive and the poison racks up. There we go. That is how you play a Wolves deck. So, yeah, we just need, the only thing we need, well, even if they knock it out, we'll just flip the script. But the only thing that we need here is just the grass energy. That would be pretty nice. A grass, and then we can Night Stretcher back either Accelgor or the grass. But only one of those. Ultra Ball, what are you getting? I presume you're going to go for a Noctowl here, which will get you bosses, and then you'll bring the bosses up, or use the bosses to knock something out. Hopefully we can bait out the Fezandipiti here. Hopefully we can bait them out, bait them to knock that out. That would be much easier. Noctowl, yep. And that would be the second bosses. And then with the second bosses, I hope that there are no more bosses within the deck. I hope. I don't know what A-Spec they're playing. I think normally, Raging Bolt normally does play Prime Catcher. I think it would actually be smarter here to take the knockout on the Accelgor. Because they have 5 prizes, which means they need, like, they're 2 EXs short anyway. So if they knocked out the... Okay, bosses inside of this, okay. So if they knock out the Accelgor here... Oh, sorry, the bosses, yeah. Cool, if they knock out Accelgor, then they still need 2 EXs and that Fezandipiti has 150 damage anyway. So, if they knock out the Fezandipiti, then they still need another knockout. Okay, I think that's a bad play personally, but up to you. If you look at the prize map, I think that would take down 3 prizes. You still need another EX and a... That's fine. So, yeah, I'm not sure I would agree with that play, looking at the prize map. But each to their own, that's fine. So if we assume that they've got 1 Prime Catcher left in deck, that will still put them on 1 prize there, and we can just rule them out. So I've got a research here, cool. So the question is, we have another bench space now, which is quite nice. Do we go with, we're not taking any damage, so I think Munkidori doesn't become an issue here. Let's Night Stretcher. Let's get Fezandipiti back. There we go. Let's flip the script. Nice, cool. Set up our second Accelgor there, which is very good. Okay, that's great. We also have our own bosses in deck as well. We can boss up a Noctowl, knock it out. or something like that. We've got Evolution in hand as well. That's also another option. Cool. Right, so we've got 2 Accelgors. That's very good. They've got 4 cards in hand. That's okay. They're not really doing too much with that. 210. Let's put. We can't put Ogerpon up because that will take a hit from Raging Bolt. There we go. Nice, Klefki in hand, that's good. I'm not really doing too much in terms of abilities anyway. Look at our hand size. Look at our hand size. So we have another Night Stretcher in deck as well, so we'll have to try and see if we can bait out another Night Stretcher just to evolve, or sorry, to get back on Mimikyu, because this is obviously causing them problems, which is why they're leading with Noctowl. Although, I feel that if we hit 70 and we do 30, there's 2 more damage counts and checkup. That's actually pretty nice because that would come into our turn. So that's 90 damage. Oh, there we go, it's Prime Catcher. Okay. So I figured that they might play Prime Catcher, and that's why Genesect might have been an option here. But that's fine. Okay, but it's interesting. Okay. I'm taking Accelgor if you want. So on that basis alone, I think, so 2 bosses and a prime, I think that should be done. Okay, sure, yeah, okay, 721, okay, you can knock that out with Raging Bolt. Okay, that's okay. Cool. So yeah, I mean, 7.20, you discard all the energy from your Pokemon. That means Noctowl doesn't become... Okay, I mean, we'll just take 2 EX knockouts. Cool. And okay, 7.21, and then you leave... Okay, alright. Oh, you can leave the one on Noctowl on the bench, or just remove... keep one on Raging Bolt, but that doesn't really do much. So, Sada. Okay, alright. Let's see, Pal Pad. Oh, okay, that's big. Okay, so that's pretty big. That makes a big difference. So we do have Iono in hand as well. We'll have to try and put them down to a couple of cards just to prevent them from getting a another bosses. So I think that the best play here would be to leave the energy on the Noctowl. 210, that's fine. 3, yep. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, not sure I agree with that, but that's fine. Although, unless they're probably thinking that they've got the bosses in deck as well, and they can just attack with that, so that's fine. Let's put Accelgor there. Okay, Super Rod. Do we need anything from there? We do not. I guess we'll stick Fezandipiti back. Why not? At this point, 1 prize is 1 prize. So, cool. Let's stick some stuff down. Should we stick? We'll stick that down here. Why not? Just stick that there. I'm just trying to deck thin a little bit. Do we need to put anything here? Fezandipiti maybe. Munkidori, no, we don't need that. Cool. I think we don't really need many of these here. So we'll just Iono. Put them down to 1. Cool. There's a boss there as well. So cool. They can burst roll though, they can draw until they have 6, but that's also fine. So we'll just hit them with that, right, and stick Mimikyu active. And then once we've gotten rid of this Raging Bolt, maybe what we can do is start targeting something like a Squawkabilly or something like that. We'll see. But we'll give them a couple of turns to draw, and then we'll hit them with another Iono. See what they draw into. So now it just becomes like a race against time, basically. So 7-14, so they've got 14 there. So they need a couple more energy. Okay, I know. Okay, interesting. That's fine. Okay, so Genesect is pretty much irrelevant here because they've used nice, okay, that's good for us. So 30 damage. Oh, why are they there's a Mimikyu in the active. Why are they attacking? Okay. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. I guess what we can also do, 140, is that hit numbers. We'll stick a reversal energy on. Actually, no, that was. I think we can't even do that as long as yeah. Yeah, we got that. I think that just counts as just a single energy. That's fine, but we don't even need reversal at this point. So Arven, let's see. We're just trying to deck them a little bit. Do we need anything from here? We'll get that. And a future booster. I don't know. So they've used an A spec already. Don't need that. Do we need Nest Ball? If they knock something out, so Fezandipiti is irrelevant at this point. I think we go with Ursaluna. I think. Cool. Ursaluna it is. So let's retreat. Right. I think Ursaluna might be looking to finish the job for us. So if we can get a bosses or something, we can finish the job with Ursaluna. Cool. That's fine. Okay, Iono. Well, Iono is still pretty good. We can put them down to next to nothing in terms of cards. So we've gotten rid of the main threat as well, which is the Ogerpon. So Nest Ball, okay. Cool. So yeah, fortunately we don't need that reversal energy anyway because Ursaluna can attack for nothing. Our Accelgor is powered up, so we don't really need it. So that's fine. Yeah, I think we're pretty much good to go. So, okay, that will get knocked out coming to our turn. Got Iono in hand. They've got one card in hand. They're not doing anything with that. That's fine. Okay, let's just continue the Accelgor loop. Right, this should get knocked out coming to our turn, so that'll be pretty nice. So this puts 2 more damage counters on it. That's 90. And then coming into our turn. Oh no, I miscounted. Okay, why did I miscount that? So 70 damage plus 2 more. Oh, 2 more. Okay, sorry, 2 more on checkup. I thought it was like plus 2. So that would have been 90. No, 2 more. So it's 10 for damage and plus the poison. That's 100. Okay, noted. So, but cool. Yeah, I think this is probably game here. We'll just finish up with Ursaluna with Bloodmoon for 240, take the knockout, and I think that's game. So you can burst roar if you want, draw 6 cards, and then we'll take the knockout for the win. And I think that is game over for you, buddy. That is game over. So, cool, but good game. Good game though, right? So, I mean, they can burst roar if they want to. That will draw them 6 cards, but they've got 240 HP. We've got a 240 attacker on the bench. Bosses, that's fine. You can boss whatever you want. Even if they bring up Accelgor, I'll just retreat. Okay, Latias, okay, sure. Yeah, whatever. Sure thing. Sure thing. Draw until you have 6 cards. That is A-okay with me. Cool. All right, and that is game. So just for fun, we'll just Iono them. Why not take your 1 card, and then we'll just retreat, go into Ursaluna, and Bloodmoon for the knockout, and that is game. Nice, good game. Good game. There we go. Much closer than I thought it would be. So. Nice, but yeah, that is a way in which you can play Accelgor, which is, as I said, just using the walls that you have in your deck, i.e. your Ogerpons, your Mimikyus, Klefkis, whatever it is that you're playing against. You can adjust your strategy, so to say, to put in the active spot whatever's going to disrupt your opponent. But that is Accelgor Wolves, and another way you could play it again is with Tyranitar. I have also tested that as well. That's also quite a nice concept. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'll leave the deck list in the description box below if you want to check it out yourself and you want to try it out, and let me know what you think. And of course, if you like this type of content, be sure to, as always, hit that subscribe button and of course, like this video. That would be amazing. But otherwise, guys, there is Accelgor for you. So thank you very much for watching and see you all in the next one.